A few weeks ago, we finally got a taste of the long-awaited Minecraft movie, and the internet has been up in flames ever since. Fans are divided, friendships have crumbled, and even Reddit threads are up in flames, all because of the movie's style. Which is understandable. It's like they took the iconic look that we love about Minecraft and said, we're gonna go ahead and skip that part. So today, I'm stepping in to fix it. I'm creating a Minecraft movie poster that the fans have actually been waiting for. Now, one of the biggest complaints I've heard about the movie is the fact that it doesn't even really feel like Minecraft. So I knew right away my goal was to create a poster that actually captures the game as if it was being brought to life on the big screen. I started out by importing a blank canvas of a Minecraft skin into Blender, and obviously my computer almost crashed, but luckily it recovered itself, thank God. And I decided to just go ahead and put the default Steve texture on for now because I was gonna go and hunt for like the actual movie skins and stuff a little later on. I duplicated them to basically resemble how many members of the cast there were. Despite this movie's unpopularity right now, it's got a pretty loaded cast. Now, ignoring the fact that I accidentally created a line and a cult of Steves, I decided to go ahead and hop on the internet and start searching for some of these skin textures. I stumbled across a website called Skindex, and after analyzing the cast and crew and stuff, I was praying to everything in my soul that when I clicked the Minecraft movie or searched the Minecraft movie on the site, something would come up. And sure enough, would you look at that, all of the Minecraft movie skins came up, which is a W. Which, by the way, shout out to the creators of these skins. I will link them down below if you guys want to download these skins for yourself. Once I gathered all of the skins I needed, I headed back into Blender and I started reskinning and retexturing some of these Minecraft skins. At this point, it was finally time to add our scene, and I'm not really experienced with adding like, you know, Minecraft related assets into Blender, so I did a quick little Google search and it turns out I had to hop on Minecraft, so I did. I created myself a brand new world and I kind of just flew around until I got a little bit of inspiration for what I wanted to do. I even found this dope mountain, which actually made me realize like what I wanted this poster to look like. So I hopped back into Blender and opened up an application called Mineways, which allows us to pull up the world we were just in and just like select an area and then immediately import it in Blender. How convenient. It took a little bit of trial and error, but we eventually ended up with this little block of landscape. However, I did zoom into the landscape and all of these textures low-key look like they just came out of like a fax machine or like a Nokia phone. I decided to enhance those a little bit. Next up, I took all of the skins and brought them up to the surface so I could start positioning them on this mountain and creating our scene. I added Jack Black's character on the top and Jason Momoa's character right next to him to the left. Well, technically you're right, but in the poster to the left. I'm not going to explain myself. I went ahead and added our boy Henry to the poster and also put all of our other characters in place, which honestly looked way better than I originally thought. We had a nice little family photo going, but it's definitely time to pose the characters. However, before posing, I did realize that this poster is a little bland. I think it's probably because there's just like no imminent threat. Like this could either be like a Step Brothers style movie poster, or we can make it a badass epic fight scene. I'm going to be picking the badass epic fight scene. So I went ahead and added some skeletons and some creepers and a spider creeping up the wall, which was an interesting choice, but definitely paid off. And now this poster was starting to look a little full, except for I realized like I didn't have any zombies. So I decided to throw some zombies in too. Now it's finally time to pose our characters. We do want this to look like an epic fight scene after all, so we have to make them look epic. I started with Natalie's character and I worked my way up, giving them items like diamond swords and shields and a whole bunch of other stuff to help them with their giant mob swarm fight. And then I got to Jack Black's Steve, and to be completely honest with you guys, this is where I lost it. I had no idea if I wanted him to just be like, you know, posted up, ready to go, or if I'd do something a little bit more creative. I did decide though on a netherite sword and also an ender pearl because I feel like if Steve wanted to make an escape, he definitely would leave everybody behind. Love you, Steve. Now, Jason Momoa's character needed to be shooting down at something just because I really wanted an excuse to put a bow and arrow in this piece, so I posed him up and he looked awesome. So obviously the characters are not the only ones that we have to pose, so I decided to jump a little bit on the mob side of things and create some pretty badass like scene poses for the zombies and the skeletons and more. Now, this zombie that I finally got to pose actually had fingers, which is interesting because it doesn't really fit the vibe, but it kind of looks cool, so I decided to keep it. And now it was finally time for lighting. Now, for some reason, when I started the lighting, it was kind of like twilight out, so I decided to actually bump up the daytime to be more sunny. Now, before you say it, I know what you're thinking. Before you go to the comments saying, Frostify, skeletons burn in the sunlight. Why aren't they burning? Zombies burn in the sunlight. What are you doing? I understand, but I do think for stylistic purposes of this poster, I don't want any of them on fire. I'm sorry. And after about an hour and a half of work, it was finally time to render. So I went ahead and I rendered out my image, and I decided to watch some paint dry because rendering takes forever. So I went ahead and opened up my render inside of Photoshop, and at first I was playing around with different images of skies, but I realized it would be way easier if I just hopped back into Blender and re-rendered the clouds that we were messing with before in the actual canvas. And honestly, I think the most enjoyable thing about this piece so far was actually making the Minecraft sun from scratch. All I really did was make a white square, and I filled it with white, and then I added an outer glow to it, and bam, we had the Minecraft sun just like that. Next up, I decided to add the Minecraft logo. Now, for some reason, this Minecraft movie has a very realistified logo, and I'm not really jiving with it, so I decided to redo the title treatment here and add like the original Minecraft logo and a knockoff Minecraft font, and also just like match the layer styles and the cracks and all of that jazz. We actually had a pretty promising like title treatment going on here for this poster, so can we get a round of applause? Next up, I realized that the render is kind of dark, so I hopped into Camera Raw and I bumped up the contrast and the shadows and all of that stuff to make sure that it actually looked like it was a part of the poster. One of the things that also clicked in my head was the fact that the sun was up in the sky and I needed some realistic lighting, so I added an inner shadow to all of the characters and the render inside of Photoshop to really create like a nice realistic highlight look. I keep forgetting that this is like a Minecraft movie poster and not like a realistic fight scene or something like that, so the lighting and the highlights and stuff are really easy because they're really just straight lines if you think about it. Now finally, my favorite part of any photo manipulation piece or poster design ever, making the render dark and actually painting back light. So I went ahead and did that, and honestly it looked kind of cool as a silhouette, but unfortunately we're not keeping that, and I decided to paint some lights on Steve and all of the other characters. After messing with the lighting for a bit, I realized that this was going to be pretty tricky because the way that the sun was hitting the characters was going to make the mountain extremely dark. So I needed another light source, and after pondering on it a little bit, I settled on Minecraft Fire. I feel like it was the perfect way to, you know, gain your guys' trust back, considering I didn't light the mobs on fire. My apologies. I went ahead and added that overlay orange glow on top of the fire to make it really pop out and be bright, and before I knew it, we were actually looking pretty solid. Now, this was probably the most frustrating and tedious process of the poster thus far, and that was actually painting light on top of these characters from the fire. I wanted it so badly to look like Minecraft lighting, so I used harsh edges, but nothing was really cutting it. I knew I was going to have to fade some of these highlights out. And after a couple of hours of just like tinkering with things and throwing my PC off of my balcony multiple times, I finally had lighting that I was proud of. Now, I realized that the poster needed some dimension, so I went ahead and split the terrain right down the middle and added this black overlay to create like a harsh cutoff shadow look, which really honestly paid off. And then I figured, how cool would it be if this orange light on top of all of these mobs was actually bouncing off of them? So I painted like this really nice haze glow on top of all of the orange contact lights like across the piece, and we had something pretty dreamlike, not gonna lie. But then I kind of got carried away. I'm like, okay, what if I make the ender pearl glow? What if I make the zombies' eyes glow? I was just adding glows for like 2 hours. Don't judge me. I also decided to add like these little flame particles. I feel like that'd be a nice touch considering, you know, there's literally fire underneath them. And then it was finally time to start adding things like credits and logos and other things of that nature. I put the movie's release date, which is as of now, April 4th, 2025. And I also added like the main cast names underneath the release date just to make the poster feel more full and more alive. I went ahead and made those names white, and I also added all of the logos in relation to this movie. I added a slight drop shadow on some of the text elements, and before I knew it, it was time to hop into Camera Raw already. Pretty crazy. I made sure to adjust my blues and the contrast and really just make this poster pop, which left us with this final product. And just like that, we have created a Minecraft movie poster that looks super dope. I'm definitely more curious though. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys think of this poster and if it aligns more with the style that you envisioned with the Minecraft film being released. And although this film is getting a lot of backlash and a lot of fans are hating on it currently, I am still gonna go see it in the next couple of months, and I hope it is really, really good. But for now, I'm gonna stop yapping. YouTube does think that you will enjoy this video a lot, so if you do want to go watch that video, please do. It means the world, and I bet you will enjoy it. I always enjoy doing challenges like these, but for now, this has been Frostify, and I will see you guys in the next upload. Thank you guys for hanging out. Peace.